Merry Christmas week! Welcome to my channel. I'm Cass and this is Cass Creates. So I am currently drinking an eggnog latte. I just started making it this season and it is a favorite in the Cause household. So let me know down below what your family likes to drink this time of year. I'd love to know. So today I'll be showing you how to make 3 low-tech Christmas tree cards over here. They each require a varying level of skill, so hopefully one of them, or maybe even all 3, will be right up your alley. So a couple of years ago, my husband and I started making homemade Christmas cards for our friends and family, and we just absolutely love the tradition. So this year I decided to step up our game a little bit and make a little bit more professional looking cards. I was Googling around and I found a few cards that I really liked. So in this video I'll be showing you these cards. They aren't my original ideas, but I just thought I would share the card making process with you and show you that if I can do it, you can do it too. 2 of these cards actually require paper quilling skills. I have never quilled anything before. This was my first go, so please know if I can do this, you can do it too. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. It'll really help me get some more videos out there, and it'll also help you get more related content. Okay, so sit back, relax, and let's get crafting. So step 1 for this card is to decorate the front. Once you make that pop up in the middle, it's going to be a little bit hard to decorate the front, so get on decorating the front first. In this video, I really just put together a few pieces of, I put together some scrap paper, a few stars from a card making kit I got a couple years ago, and some washi tape, but you can totally do anything else you would like. You can use stamps, you can use a stencil, you can design something on your Cricut and paste it on there. But yeah, go wild. So next you are going to start folding. Start off by folding your 8.5 by 11 in half, and then take each outer edge and fold it towards the middle. You're going to do this a few times, each time folding your page from the outer edge to the most recent fold. You're doing this to create registration lines of sort, because the next step would be to create a paper fan, just like the ones we used to make at school back in the day. These registration lines just help to make sure that all your folds end up being even. After your fan has been folded successfully, you are going to mark off increments of 1 centimeter, 2, 3, 4, and 5 centimeters. Note that I am not marking the page off in 1 centimeter increments, rather I am making increments of varying sizes. And I suggest turning on your glue gun now so it is ready for the next step. While you're waiting for your glue gun to heat up, you can go ahead and write the message inside your card so you don't have to contend with the pop-up Christmas tree later on. Here I'm just writing joy to the world, but feel free to include a personal message to the recipient as well. I just didn't know who I was making this card for, so I didn't get to that part yet. Before I glue everything down, I'm still waiting for the glue gun to heat up. I drew out a star on this yellow piece of paper, and now I'm cutting it out, and this will adorn the top of our Christmas tree. I'm gonna go ahead here with a glue stick and glue each fanned section to one side of the fold of the card. I am placing the strips horizontally and then starting with the longest piece at the bottom and working my way to the top. Once you are done gluing them, your pieces should look like the profile view of a tiered cake, if that makes sense. You can do all the sticking with a glue gun if you'd prefer. I just used a glue stick for this step because I wanted the card to be less bulky. Once you have glued each strip to one side of the fold, you're going to open up each section to make a little fan and then glue it to the opposite side of the fold. And then you will add a little drop of hot glue in the center of each fan to prevent the fan from popping right out. This will make sure that the fan stays intact and that the recipient of the card doesn't experience any chaos when opening the card. Once your tree is complete, you can go ahead and stick the star to the top of the tree. I'm just making sure it folds properly. Next, I'm taking a sheet of brown paper and sizing it up so that the length matches what I have left available on the card. You're going to repeat the steps that you followed to create the tree by folding the brown sheet in half and then folding the outer edges towards the middle. This is going to create a pop-up shape for your trunk, and then you'll have tabs to apply glue to and stick to either side of the fold in your card. And for the finishing touch, I cut off a few pieces of scrapbook paper just to make the presents at the bottom of the tree. I cut these in various sizes. I then made some ribbon and hot glued the ribbon on top of the boxes. You could also use a Sharpie to draw the bows if you would like. And there you have it. This is our first card. So this card is kind of like an intro into quilling. We're not going to be making a whole lot of fancy coils here, but we are going to be making a V scroll, which is basically when you fold your paper in half and then coil each end towards the middle, going outwards. Then you'll have a V scroll kind of shape. Here we're just going to turn it upside down. Once we make the second V scroll, we're actually going to start gluing the center together, and then we can join the top V scroll to the second one, and then we're just going to make more V scrolls to fill out our tree. Spoiler alert, this is my favorite card to make because I just feel it is so free-spirited. You don't need a template to make this card. You can just go ahead and kind of make what you feel. If you want a more sparse tree, you can do fewer scrolls, and if you want a more fuller tree, you can just make as many scrolls as you would like. If you would like to add more bulk or more width to your tree, here I am just making a longer quilling strip. So I just added 2 pieces of paper together with a little bit of clear glue, and I'm coiling it as per usual. And then you can just loosen it up later with the quilling tool, just run it through the coil again. I searched online and apparently a tacky glue, Elmer's craft bond glue, or like a quick drying glue is the best for quilling. I didn't have any of that, but I did have the clear school glue on hand, so I just used that and I didn't have any issues with this project at all. So don't worry if you don't have the craft bond glue. So this tree is very free spirited. As I said, you're just gonna go ahead and play around with the shape, and once you are satisfied, you can glue the pieces together. Once you have glued all the pieces together, you can carefully go ahead, pick up the entire tree and gently dip it in some glue. Be very careful with this part because less glue is more. You want just enough so that it sticks to your paper, but you don't want to drench it because your coils are going to get stuck. It's going to change into a kind of cone shape, and there'll just be a lot of chaos going on. I actually had a lot of chaos going on with this, so I would recommend flipping the tree over and using a glue applicator specifically for quilling, just on the back of the tree and then sticking it down on your card. But if you are really careful, this method works too. Once you put it back on your card, just work with it really quickly, move it around and get that shape back in. With this glue, there's no need to panic if the glue gets all over the card. It dries clear, and it dries pretty well actually, so you don't see any leftover residue at all. And after you have your tree set on your page or on your cardstock, you can go ahead and make more coils just to fill in any gaps and just to your taste and your preference. For the tree trunk, I used dark brown strips and I just ended up folding it in half and then folding the edges towards each other. I added a little bit of glue and made a sort of triangle / arrow shape. I then thought that the trunk was a little bit too small for this tree. It wasn't quite proportionate, so I just doubled up on that, and it looked much better with 2 arrow shapes. And tweezers are super helpful with quilling too, by the way, so make sure you get a pair of those. And here I am ruining my card with a black Sharpie. I did not have a black brush pen to write in calligraphy, so the Merry Christmas didn't look quite as I wanted it to look, so I just ended up covering that up with gold washi tape and then adding a Merry Christmas sticker on top. It looks much more elevated, I will say, so I guess it was a happy mistake. I had some half jewels lying around, so I used that to decorate the tree. You could also just make tighter paper coils and put that in between the coils on this tree, and that would also kind of have a little ornament look. We'll be doing that in the 3rd card, so you can have a look then. For our last card, we are going to delve deeper into the world of quilling. So for this card, I'm just going to prep all of the quilling pieces, all the coils ahead of time, because once you have everything done and ready, assembling the card is just so much quicker than making the pieces and assembling it at the same time. So here I made about 40 or so leaf shapes. So it's actually like a teardrop shape. You make a regular coil and then you pinch one end so it looks like a tear. I used mainly an emerald green paper, and then I also used a pastel green and lime green, but I tried to get around 40-ish of those. So now making the tree trunk is going to be a regular coil that you pinch on one end like a tear, but then you push the opposite end in to kind of make like a triangle / arrow shape. For the star, I am making the tree trunk shape and then pinching out the sides on the left and the right to make the 5-pointed star shape. Now I'm making the ornaments, so I actually cut quilling strips in half because I want the ornaments to be rather thin, and I'm just making a tight coil here, not letting it go at all and sticking it right away. I made about 10 or so of these in yellow and red. Now we're making the presents. The presents are a regular coil that you start off with a tier, pinch the opposite side, and then you'll eventually pinch it into a diamond and then just flatten out the diamond so that it looks like a square. For the bows on top of the presents, we are again using half strips, and we're making very tight coils, but then pinching one side to make a tier, and then 2 tiers for each present will make your bow. So here I'm assembling mini flags with Merry Christmas printed on it, and then just sticking it onto a green sheet of paper just to add an elevated element. Once I have the flag in place, then I know where to place my trunk. Make sure you leave room for the presents underneath or side by side the trunk. When I start sticking the leaves, I'm actually going to start with 3 leaves on either side, going slightly to the left and the right just to add that width to my tree, and then I will start placing the leaves upwards in a kind of cone shape just to get that perfect Christmas tree shape. Once you start filling in the Christmas tree, try to make sure that all the tiers are facing upwards, just so that it looks more uniformed and more neat. Interchange the colors just to give it more texture. The original post that I saw, the maker actually did quite a few more tiers on the second layer of the card, which gave it a lovely textured look. I didn't do that because I thought that it would be too high. Once you have completed your tree, you can go ahead and pop the star at the top. I then started placing the presents at the bottom of the tree together with their bows. And then I am taking the tight scrolls and kind of just finding any loose spots where I can kind of squish the ornaments into. The original maker just, she had 3mm strips, so she placed them on top of the leaves. I just thought this was going to make my tree stick out too much and that it wouldn't fit in an envelope, so I decided to kind of make it flush with the tree. And this is what the tree looks like, but it's not quite done yet. There's a little gap there, so I'm just gonna make one extra present and plop that in the middle. And I'm going to use some of the half jewels that I had for the previous project and just add something to the top of the card because it looked rather bare to me. You can totally just leave it blank if you choose. I think it looks fine either way. I kind of miscalculated my tree. I was hoping it would be a little taller than it was, so I'm using the half jewels to fill up the space. And it looks more Christmassy this way too. And there you have it, card number 3. So I had a lot of fun making these cards and I hope you had fun watching. I hope that this inspires you to make some Christmas cards for your loved ones this year. And if not this year, then next. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and I hope you have a wonderful time celebrating with your loved ones.